What's going on, world? And there's something always new to learn. Well, today is going to be a blend of old and new. At Remarkable LLC, we are committed to being lifelong learners, but some of our relationships go back decades. We've now officially been in real estate for 25 years, and I'm going to make a guess that I met our guest roughly 20 years ago. They had a magazine called Invest with Passion about investing in real estate. And I don't know how we met, but I ended up speaking at a couple of their events, and we just had so much in common. And if there's one person who can kind of check me or get me together, it would definitely be the director of operations for Remarkable LLC, who is also the founder of Be Great Ministries, also a real estate developer working in conjunction with the city of Milwaukee, none other than Anita Clinton. What's going on, Anita?
Hey, it's
Hey.
so interesting because I cannot remember how we met either. And it could have been you came to speak at Brain. And from there, Freddie Taylor scheduled a meeting and we all came to that meeting.
I think Freddie might have reached out first, but I know that you all had a couple of events. I spoke at those events. We just clicked. We all have an entrepreneurial spirit. And look, it's 2 decades later, and we still meeting for brunch and lunch and picking brains and doing business together. And so it has been a great experience. And you know what? Sometimes in the world of real estate, you need to find your tribe, right? Like minded people who aren't entrepreneurs for the sake of calling themselves entrepreneurs, but people who want to create a legacy, who want to have net income, who want to have profitability. And that's something that we do. And we've kind of been in this journey together. I mean, because you have graphic design skills, magazine design skills. Like, oh my God, you're a multi-time publisher, website. Like, I really think that you can do anything. And it's not the fact that you can do anything, it's the fact that you take great pride in doing things well. But today we want to talk about realpreneur entrepreneurship, but more importantly, how we have both leveraged artificial intelligence in all of our businesses because we both have multiple business endeavors. And so I know that a lot of people want to become a developer. And right now, tell us about your work with Milwaukee.
Yeah, so I recently been a little bit over a year, moved back to Illinois from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I had lived in Milwaukee for 11 years, had built some amazing friendships and relationships there. And I have a really good friend who heard about a request for proposal from the city of Milwaukee looking for developers to come in. The city had been awarded $15 million to renovate some of, a part of that money was used or put toward renovating some of the abandoned tax foreclosed properties that were in some of the low income areas in Milwaukee. And there are over 150 tax owned properties that are just sitting there and they're falling apart, literally. And so the city put out this request for proposal or an RFP, and we submitted a proposal to be one of the developers that come in to help renovate those properties. We were selected among 16 other developers, and we were assigned initially 5 properties. And so we just finished the beginning of this year. We just finished renovating the first property and we're moving on. We're already into the second one and we're getting ready to start 3 and 4. In addition, we have been awarded 10 more properties. So we have a total of 14 properties that we're renovating right now. And so it's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. So here's what's interesting about this, right? So in addition to the fact that we're able to provide affordable housing for those that live in this particular community, um, we were told coming in, you don't want to work with the city. You don't want to work with the city. It's a whole bunch of bureaucracy and red tape. And so our confession from the very beginning was that we were going to have favor with the city. And I can't tell you how much favor we've had. And so we've been featured. We've been written up in different newspapers. We did a press release with the mayor 2 weeks ago. Everything about our house, the city's CDC came and had their monthly meeting inside of our home. We took pictures. So when I say there's power in what you confess, the things that you say that you put out into the atmosphere, trust me, there is power in that. And we have to get a little more used to doing that.
So wait a minute. You declared that you would have favor and you would not have to deal with the red tape. Because you know what? I was trying to figure out things have really gone quite smooth, right? You get an offer, it's a full price offer. You realize the person really doesn't qualify for all the different grants and initiatives. So then within a week, you all have another full price offer, right?
Yep.
Things have been going really, really smooth. So the power of the tongue, right? You affirmed over this and what it would look like. And as a result, you went from 5 houses to 10 houses. I would definitely say there is power in your words. Look, I didn't know that because I'm like, yeah, this seemed real smooth. Like the house is done. And here's what I only heard you complain one time.
Yeah, I'm like, we had a
That was
couple
about
hiccups. Yeah.
a
So
you know what the complaint was?
uh
Tell them what your
so
one complaint was.
the biggest complaint was so in the process of renovating the properties, the master bedroom in this particular house. Now, all of the bedrooms are rather small, right? And so there's 3 bedrooms, one on the first floor, two on the second floor. And the master bedroom had this little tiny closet. And so, I'm a big girl, right? I'm a big girl. I'm 6'2", and I could barely fit through that closet. I'm like, we have all of this space. Why not widen this closet door, so that somebody my size can fit in this doggone closet, you know? And so that was my biggest complaint so far. But we have had, it's renovating, and there are things that you don't know about the property. We had a sewer issue, and so even though we had a company that came out and for all of these properties, because they've been sitting so long, they are literally rebuilding the sewer line out to the street. And so we had the company come out. They ran into our house with their equipment, so they put a dent. We had to get that fixed. And then once we actually got the plumbing in the house set up, there was a smell. Like, it's stuff that's been sitting there for years, right? And we had to go down and tear the concrete up in the basement, or the cement in the basement, and we had to clean out those boxes, the trap boxes. So that was an added expense that we hadn't anticipated, but it needed to be done, right? We can't sell a house that smells like sewer when you walk in it, right? So,
Wow. Now, as a user of artificial intelligence, what is some ways that artificial intelligence do you believe has helped you or could help you on future projects now that you are using it as a tool?
yeah. So one of our partners owns a group home. So she owns several group homes. She's been in business for about 20 plus years. And we decided to go after some grants. She has a nonprofit. Why not? Right? We're looking to provide affordable housing in low income areas, and so we used ChatGPT to write the actual grants, or to write the proposals for the grants for us. In addition, we used ChatGPT, or we used AI to help do some virtual staging. We did not do physical staging in the property, but the virtual staging we definitely did do, and it actually looked pretty good. And so we've been using AI for marketing and promotion as well, to create graphics. We created a video. We're using it as much as we possibly can, and I use it in general as much as it's my number one go-to at this point.
So come back because I want to break some of this down. One, the proposal. A lot of people don't know that what we use often is called a voice paragraph. So we make artificial intelligence sound like us so that when we show up, there's no disconnect between the words that a person would see on a sheet of paper versus how we might talk or what they believe our mannerisms are. But you said promotion, because I remember seeing one of these videos. So, what is a skill that you intentionally went to go acquire in order to help you with the promotional videos.
Oh, so you and I went to Maryland. Was it Maryland?
It
Washington,
was,
D.C., Maryland, that area.
yeah, we went to, it was in Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
Hmm.
We went to learn how to create animated videos using artificial and intelligence. And so I created this video series. Now, I haven't had time to really sit down and put some time and effort into making it into a full series, but I created kind of the first introductory video. It is really, really cool. And I am excited. I just got to find some time. Like, I got a lot going on over here in my world.
I know.
But I got the skill though. I got the skill to do it. So
And one of the reasons, looking at the AI animation, right? So we're both considered Black AI animators as a result of taking this class, is because we know that currently it's a $13 billion industry, and it's projected that in the next decade, it will become a $570 billion industry. And if we think about Milwaukee and even where I live in the city of Chicago, we're talking about underserved communities. We believe that minorities need to be able to see their reflection in home ownership and to be able to have their own stories told. The virtual staging is interesting, right? Because what I'm hearing is because of artificial intelligence, you already had, skill sets, right? Plural.
mhm.
But now it's aiding you in proposals, virtual staging, marketing, promotions, and sales. But tell me a little bit more about virtual staging. What were some of the steps that you took? Because I can't get people to clean their house, but virtually staged houses, I could see the appeal to it.
Yeah. So, as with any listing, so our realtor had a professional photographer come out and the photographer took some amazing pictures. It's interesting because as we're going to look at properties, sometimes the pictures are completely different than when you physically get into the house. You'd be like, it sort of kind of looked like that picture, but not really. So the photographer's pictures were amazing. Like the house actually, it looks amazing. And then the pictures just took it to the next level. And so all we had to do was upload those pictures into the software and then just pick furniture. So place furniture where we wanted it to go. You got to select different colors that were in alignment with the colors of the walls and the hardwood floors that we have throughout that house. Well, actually, we have vinyl that kind of look like hardwood. So the floors, we just kind of matched it up and found something that aesthetically looked pleasing.
And when I'm thinking about this, you can do this right now. The Chat GPT, there are 3 million new GPTs inside of Chat GPT. So what a real estate professional can do is you can take any picture, because it's a 2-step process. You can take any picture of a property you currently have, load it into Chat GPT, ask ChatGPT for staging recommendations. So they'll give you a long list of information that you can now convey back to the seller for every single room that you believe needs to be staged. And then you can ask it to do a mock up of what the new room would look like staged. And it does this for you in a matter of minutes. So we actually don't have any excuses to not be able to show person what it really looks like, a list of recommendations, and then what it can look like. That would be considered content, and it's can be part of your unique selling proposition back to the seller. Okay. So there's no reason to have ugly, well, let me say this. There's no reason to have only ugly, dirty, dingy pictures, right? Because I can show you, hey, yeah, this is what it is. But with this 1-2 Chat GPT, you can come in and do virtual staging for a full house or just one room at a time. Now, when you say marketing, some people are listening to us, some people are watching us. I'm looking at you and I know that you have on a branded t-shirt, right?
Too.
Walk me through all of the different marketing pieces that you've been able to create in record time as a result of, one, just having design skills, but then two, because of ChatGPT.
So it's interesting because as a graphic designer, I feel like I'm cheating using ChatGPT and Canva, right? And for the longest time, I was like, I'm not using Canva. That's cheating. I use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign. And then I started using Canva and I was like, wait a minute. This is saving me some time. I can do some pretty cool things over here. Now, I haven't given up on Adobe, but I do use Canva a lot more. So what we ended up doing is we decided that we wanted to come up with a educational platform. And so we wanted to get creative, and sometimes we can take that creativity a little too far. And so we came up with this organization called Improve. And so I have my Improve Milwaukee T-shirt on, and we spelled Improve incorrectly intentionally with a highlight on the U, right? So it's all about everybody working together to make communities better, right? So together you and I can make the community better. And so what we did is when we initially created our website, we didn't have any after pictures of our property. We had plenty of before pictures, but we didn't have any after pictures. And so I essentially went into Midjourney and I gave a description of what our house looked like externally. The description of what we wanted it to look like or what we had envisioned that it would look like in the end. And I had Midjourney create the exterior photo for me, in addition to create a kitchen, to create a dining room, a bedroom, and a living room. And so we ended up putting those pictures on our site to give us a visual representation of what it was that we were envisioning in our head and that we had spoke with our the contractors about.
Now, I'm hearing, let me say this. You've done more than any developer I've ever heard of, right? Because we're talking about a website with before photos, with after photos, with a logo. And even though you could do all those things yourself, you decided that, hey, I'm going to leverage artificial intelligence to help me do these things. How much time do you believe that artificial intelligence has helped you?
Hours. It saved me hours, right? So just inside of creating those photos, probably took 10 minutes to get all of them complete. And the interesting thing is what Midjourney completed is pretty comparable to how our property ended up, right? So yeah, I use ChatGPT, Midjourney. I've been playing around with Studio DID. I use them just about everything. Now, here's what's interesting, right? So you mentioned the voice paragraph, and so I started writing voice paragraphs for all my clients. And so my ChatGPT, when I say it's just confused, it don't know what voice it's using. So I have to be very specific now when I use it. Like, hey, I need you to use this here voice because at some point it started like commingling all of the voices together. And then it started creating stuff that didn't even sound like English. I was like, can you just write this in simple English? But I think it remembers. Once you start putting those voice style paragraphs in there, it remembers those for future chats.
Wow. Now, come back. You said that you started using different voice paragraphs for the different clients in which you are working for. And it's something that I encourage people to do all the time, right? Voice paragraphs to come up with a person's style, voice, and tone are relatively easy to do. And this would be a recommendation for it would actually be a recommendation for any brokerage, right? Two things that I think that we need now. Now, this list consistently changes. I believe that every real estate agent should have video content because it's the only form of content you can repurpose without recreating. But with every single video comes a style, a voice, a tone, but also mannerisms, right? Now, in addition to that, I believe that we should have a voice paragraph, which is a prompt you copy and paste with a sample of a person's writing, and it tells you what that person's voice, style, and tone is, so that all of their marketing copy, their emails, their blog posts, their articles sound and replicate them. But the joy of using those voice paragraphs is when you ask ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, Claude to do something, your two things are going to occur. You're less likely to see plagiarized content, and you're less likely to have AI detected content. And so it's something that we highly recommend. But that now means that the same services, Anita, that you were providing for yourself, you can provide them for other people. So you could repurpose the content into their voice paragraph, and it's going to sound and or look different.
Yeah. I had one client I was working with creating her standard operating procedures. And when she read it, she was like, hmm, that's how I would have worded that. And I was like, I know. I said, remember that little sample of writing I asked you to send me? Well, I used that to help me create this custom standard operating procedures for you. And it works. It works.
I wonder what would the impact be for a seller if we were to get their voice sample and write their property description. Like,
Ooh.
what type of emotions would that evoke, right? That they're reading it and they feel as if they described their home themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
I could definitely see power in that. And here's why I'm thinking about this, because I believe in helping the people who help me. So I'm of service, and you do this as well, even with the voice paragraph, right? To be of service to the people who hire us, one, to educate them, because generative AI skills, the search has increased 2,400%. We know that people have lost their jobs in 2023 and will lose their jobs in 2024. I'm consistently, when I'm sitting down with someone, if you sit next to me at a breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I'm leaning over asking, hey, have you used ChatGPT? This is how you can use it. Because what I am clear about is that 300 million jobs will be impacted as a result within the next decade. It is my responsibility to help my friends and the people in my sphere to stay gainfully employed, because they need generative AI skills, whether they know it or not. When you think, so now you have more houses, what would be the next, what are you looking to create now in order to streamline your processes and being a developer?
So you, when we first started, you were like, Anita, this is your $1 million course. She was like, you need to record everything that you guys are doing. You need to be keeping records of everything so that once you're done, you can go back and put together a course, because what we're doing in Milwaukee can be done in just about every major city, because there are always going to be communities where, and typically they're the low income communities where people have lost their houses for various reasons. And then those houses are just sitting there falling apart. And the cities would love to have those houses available for low income, for affordable housing in the areas. And there's money out there, y'all. There is money out there to do uh, to do these renovations. And so I'm putting together the course, and you'll be able to learn exactly what we did and take it to your city and present it.
So, one, I'm glad you took heed. And yes, they do want affordable housing, but more importantly, they want to put these properties back on the tax roll. And so you have definitely aided the city of Milwaukee. But in the process, not only do I believe that this is your $1 million course, because there are a couple of things definitely unique, right? One, you actually moved from the city that you're rehabbing in, which is kind of funny, right? But in this process, you have a minority female group of developers. That is unique. The fact that more than one woman could come together to pool resources to be able to pull this off, and to do so in such a manner that the city was willing to give you more properties. That also lets me know that you're outperforming your competitors. I'm just going to throw
Yeah,
that. You don't have to admit it, but I'm just going to throw
yeah,
that
no,
on
we
there.
are.
Yeah.
We're very clear we are.
Right. So that requires systems from doing this from afar, but it also means that you're relying on other people, their eyes, their ears, and their nose, which means you got to have the ability to be able to delegate. In this process, though, AC, you did write a new course, and you have people in this course right now. So, what is another way that you're leveraging artificial? You thought you was going to get away with that? Artificial intelligence.
So Okay, we'll talk about that, but then I do want to say something else that has to do with that development piece. So during COVID, I don't know, it was just on my heart to get my finances in order, right? I spend a lot of money, right? So I am a spender. Period. I am a spender. And I don't really say no to myself on something that I won't. And so, but during COVID, it was like, okay, Nita, you're getting older. I had some retirement, but definitely not enough to retire and live the same way that I'm living now. And I was like, you need to work on it. You need to get your finances in order. And so somehow I get introduced to Bitcoin. And then from Bitcoin, I started looking into the stock market. And I have always wanted to understand day trading. And so back then, when I was first looking at it, I didn't have the capacity, and the education wasn't as available then as it is now. And so sitting at home, it's COVID, I can't go anywhere. And so I decided to teach myself how to day trade. Now, when I say teach myself, I paid for some courses. I've done a lot of YouTube courses. And it's so funny because I look at these YouTubers that I follow in the day trading realm, and most of them are like 20-year-old Caucasian boys, right?
I
And I'm
love
like,
them.
I know. I was like, they haven't even lived a full life yet, and they teaching me how to day trade, right? Um, and so I've been day trading for two and a half years now. And I got funded. So I trade for another company. I use their money, and we split a 90-10 split the profits that I make. And so I decided, I was like, look, other people can do this too. I trade 2 hours a day in the morning, and then I go on to do whatever else I want to do for the rest of that day. And so I have a test group that I'm testing out to see. We have a $5,000 challenge going. And so in 90 days, we're looking to make $5,000 day trading. When that goes well, then I'll open it up to invite more people to come in, because it's definitely a way to create additional income, especially if you like, purpose is my thing, right? I believe everybody has a purpose. And so inside of purpose, you need resources, you need capital to do whatever that thing is that you're put here to do. And I think that day trading is a great way to fund the thing that you are excited, are passionate about. And so I call it fund your passion, as simple as that. But let me go back just really quick. And when we talk about favor, right? So we talk about us confessing that we have favor inside of this project. Well, not only have the city been talking about us, great things, they're excited about what we're doing, but we were recently introduced to another organization. And because it's not final yet, I won't say the name, but if I was to say the name of this organization, everybody would know who it was. And so there's something called the Reinvestment Act, right? And so this particular organization, they have defined three cities around the area where we're renovating these houses, or three neighborhoods around that area. And as part of their reinvestment back into these communities, they've set aside millions of dollars to help renovate houses. And so we had a meeting last week with the owner, or the education director for this particular area, and they're going to bring us on to be their developer. And so this organization is going to give us, typically they're going to give us the money to renovate more houses in that particular area. And we've already pinpointed 5 of those houses that are currently on the city's roster of homes that we're already renovating through the Homes MKE program. And so right now there's a subsidy that we get from the city, but we also have to go out and get our own construction loan. Well, with this new program, providing that everything goes well, we'll get the subsidy from the city, and we'll get the subsidy from this organization, so we don't have to go get any money from nowhere.
Mm, that's what I'm talking
Favor.
about. That's
What are
favor.
you saying, right? What are you confessing? What are you putting out there?
Well, we had this conversation the other day. So now I'm realizing when I call you, and I try not to call you when you're trading in the morning, right? But when I call you and I'm telling you, I can see now you like, Right. I could hear it in your voice, but I didn't know why, right? Because I'm going back to this whole we claim favor. I
Yeah.
told you that this year I was feeling some sort of way because I was consistently saying no, no, no to things that I did not believe were in total alignment with what it is that we were doing. And that we came up with a business plan. And in the midst of everything else you do, you still managed to tell me what to do, which is just, I don't know how you do this, right? But you still managed to tell me what to do and send me checklists and what I need to do and how I need to be on task. And so I'm going back to the fact that I told you the other day. I was like, man, I said, all of these no's are starting to line up in a yes for what I actually wrote down I wanted to manifest. So I told people no to make sure that these other things could occur. And had I not told them no, I don't believe that the other things could have occurred. And so you got to have the faith of a mustard seed. And I keep organic mustard seeds at all times in my house. Quick story about that. I told Steve to go down to Whole Food to get me some mustard seeds because I believe that you should have the faith of a mustard seed. And Steve come back, Marky, you know how much these mustard seeds are? How many of these mustard seeds you want? I could have just dropped one off the floor and picked it up with my fingernail and brought you a couple of mustard seeds. And I'm like, you cannot bring me no hot mustard seeds up in here. I need the good organic paid for mustard seeds in order to manifest my dreams, right? So I said, give me a tablespoon of mustard seeds. And throughout, I think we might be over here in this pack, but throughout different packs, I have my mustard seeds saved. And it's because of my mother. Okay. So to have the faith of a mustard seed, you need to speak into existence what it is that you want. We believe that you should leverage AI because I don't believe we would be performing at the level in which we're performing if we were not using AI. And Anita, how would one be able, because you still take on clients and you still help people with their branding. You actually created my WordPress website and you create numerous of our landing pages that are converting right now, right? So how would a person do business with you? Or look, they got some money they want to invest in the next development. How do they find Miss Anita, honey?
You can head on over to my website, Anita Clinton, CLINTON.com. Everything is there. So there are different links that will take you depending on what it is you're looking to do.
So if you are looking to up your brand, if you want someone who's going to keep you on track, then Anita Clinton is the person. She's been keeping me on track now for about 18 years. Yeah, it's been 18 years on and off, right? Somehow we always come back. We always have a good time. But this is your year. Go over to AnitaClinton.com. Check out what Anita is doing and know that you can do it too. Thank you guys for
Absolutely.
tuning in. Bye bye.